Vintage Magic. Game, collect, invest. For more information about our consulting and professional services, visit vintagemagic.com.
All right, guys, welcome back. Welcome back. It's me, Daniel, with vintagemagic.com. Hoping you guys are having a good week. So this video is all about, I actually talked to my friend Drew about this. It's a very interesting thing. It's about, well, I've got a lot of complaints, and I've been a part of this. The grading times of Beckett and PSA, the two grading companies over the years. It's deteriorated dramatically. Let me first preface this. This is not a complaining to Beckett or PSA. It's just a brainstorming video of understanding what they could be experiencing or what they are experiencing. I'm going to make a lot of assumptions, but I could also tell you that I'm probably going to hit a lot of facts. So I also think that this is all, a lot of community feedback has been coming to me over this time. A lot of complaints about the orders times, this non-guaranteed thing with Beckett. They're changing it so there's no subgrades now for non-guaranteed. So we're going to dive into all those things. But I want to make it clear. This is not about like, yeah, Beckett's this or BSA is better. No. This video is all about more about what can we do? And I want to hear from the comments below. This is where you guys have an opportunity to put in the comments below what you think could change or how could it be better? Because honestly, I think everybody just wants their cards on time. They want their grades graded right the first time. And that's all they want. And that's all they care about. I mean, I don't know why it's such a big deal, how hard it is, but we have an operation so big for those two companies, it's crazy. All right, so let's jump right into it. So here's what's going on. If you've been living underneath a rock and you've come out of the rock, you realize that, man, it's been a year or 2 years. Yeah, the Beckett grades, the non-guaranteed grade orders have been taking up to over a year for sure. Some almost like basically 2 years plus in a way. 2 years plus. I want you guys to stop and think about how long that is. Back in the good old days, it used to be a 45 business day approximate turnaround. Sometimes, and you know, I've graded a lot of cards. Sometimes I would get them in 30 days. Sometimes 40 days. I don't even think I got them really that late. I don't think I've ever got them at 46 days. So it was never a guarantee, but it was like approximate 45-day business turnaround, business days. And then if you look at PSA, just like Beckett, they had this similar thing. And for years, it's been really good. On top of that, Beckett would have this 10 for 10 for 10 special. Back in the day, it was like $10 for 10 cards for 10 days. 10, yeah. And I would submit, you know, I have orders back in the day where I would submit like Alpha Lotuses or stuff like that. Get them really quick in the mail. Never really at 9 days or 8 days, but it's very quick. They also even had like back in the day $12 or $13 5-day special. And those were very fast. Always business days, by the way, not 5 days. And PSA does the same thing. PSA has collector club specials that are really cool. And I'll put both links of companies below. And I thought that service was always, I mean, honestly, this video is stupid because like back in the day, it was never a problem. I never even experienced like, oh yeah, Dan, you'll get your cards like 2 years later. No, I've never heard this complaint until like not now, but these last like 6 months to a year, people have been complaining to me like, Dan, you got to make a video. You got to dissect this a little bit. And it got to a point where it's like, I got to make a video because it's like, I have an order from Beckett that is currently sitting over a year, I want to say over a year and a half late. And I'm thinking to myself, I talked to my rep, you know, don't get me wrong. I talked to my rep and he's said I'm next in line for a long list of people that they're trying to get the non-guarantees done. And PSA, I met with Steve Sloan, the president there, and told me that there's been issues with some of their orders, the bulk orders in the past. They call it bulk. and they're trying to get them out at a reasonable time. But nothing, and I asked them, is it taking a year? No, it's not a year for PSA. I think it's probably 2 or 3 months late, for them. But it's not a year, right? But still late. Let's just be clear. It's still late. What's going on with these companies? And I realized that the biggest problem in talking to Steve Sloan is it's the graders. It's really just an HR finding people that are competent to actually grade the cards at a quality job at a fast enough rate that makes sense. And then obviously, turnover and pay, right? Turnover and pay. These are things that are really big. No, so I don't know what the graders make. I don't know what the exact dollar amount, but from what I was told and understand is that graders make, I don't think it's not a grade per card thing. They make now like a salary, so they're not pressured, but they have benefits and all that kind of stuff, but they also have bonuses, I think, that if they are doing exceptional amount of work and they do a quality job, no complaints, no issues, and they may get spot tested, on certain cards, whatever. They probably get paid, almost $50K a year. I think even in SoCal, like in PSA land, they probably get paid $60 to $70K a year, maybe $80K a year. And I definitely guarantee, like the director of grading, he makes over $100K. And, some of the other guys who are more super senior graders, those guys are making, closer to six figures. So I don't think it's necessarily like we don't want to pay you situation. Now, in Texas, in Dallas, Texas, where Beckett is, the cost of living is much different than SoCal. Let's be clear. I'm not making fun of people from Texas, but it's cheaper to buy a house. If you want to buy a house in Texas, 200, 300, 400K. That's pretty normal, right? SoCal, everything is $1 million just about, for a decent, comparable house. So you have to pay more. And rent's higher, food's higher, gas is like $5-something in SoCal. Dallas, it's like, like much cheaper. It's like $2 something. So keep that in mind. So I think in Dallas area, Beckett land, they must be paying them probably, I would guess, 30 to 40K starting a year. And then their senior graders probably make 65, 75K a year. Director obviously probably makes 100 because that's just the way it is. But, that's a senior level position or vice president, whatever you want to call it, operations. And the reality is, though, I still think it's more of a turnover issue. This is why, and also it's also about, are you able to do the job? Hold on, think about this. I realize the scenario, like my friend Drew, we were talking about this. The scenario comes about is that it's almost like graders are basically like doctors. And I'm not saying that graders are like doctors, like school-wise, but there's a level of precision and knowledge and expertise, right? You have to have. They're dentists, they're surgeons. They have to know exactly the intricacies of each card and everything, right? There's so much knowledge that comes with a grader. But the thing is, how do you find that? And, you don't necessarily have to have a college degree. I know that. That's not a guarantee you have to have. But how do you find that expertise in handling cards and touching them correctly and looking at inspecting all the altering effects and everything, right? How do you know that? And to be honest with you, the only way you can hire people are people in the industry. I've come to the realization that the people that are submitting the cards, the people that are like knowledgeable, I mean, I'm going to throw myself out there. I know how to grade Magic cards. I know what to look for. I know how to grade sports cards, stuff like that. I would do pretty well. And I mean, I'm confident I would do very well in the grading exams and stuff like that. The problem with all the people that are submitting the cards, like companies and, who are doing it or individuals, they're making more money than being a grader, or they have more freedom. Because the thing is, the work environment as a grader, and this is another factor, is you have to be in like a dark room or a relatively dark room. And you have like a high-powered light. You have your loop. You have all the stuff going on, measuring tools, your computer, entering, whatever you need to do, right? But it's a dark environment. And I want you guys to go into your home, go to the bathroom, and just turn off the light for a minute. And I want you to just do that for a minute and have your cell phone. Look at your cell phone. Okay, then do that for an hour. Do that for 8 hours. Now, obviously, they're going to go to the bathroom. They're going to take a break. But imagine that. That environment is very taxing. It's very difficult to actually, I don't even think anybody understands the appreciation of it unless you go through thousands and thousands and thousands of cards all the time. And I've done that myself. And it hurts your neck. It hurts your shoulders. It hurts your eyes. And you get dehydrated. There's lots of physical requirements it takes to become to be a great grader and do it accurately, consistently all the time. And so that's where the problem is that you don't find enough great graders because all the people that are in the industry, they're like, well, screw that. I'm not going to go. What am I going to go to college? Oh, by the way, yeah, I like to go to the card grading 101 class so I can become a grader for PSA or Beckett. What? No one's going to do that. Maybe it should be a trade thing, like a vocational thing. That'd be kind of cool, like an authenticating job. Huh. Maybe PSA should do that. Maybe, this is actually an idea. Why doesn't Beckett or PSA or someone certify, or maybe a third-party grading college, where after you do the college and you do the test, PSA and Beckett are going to hire you on the spot. So you have to put your investment in. But if you pass all the tests, you get you're on time, all that kind of stuff, background checks, whatever, you get the job. Why not do that? It seems like that vocational skill, in a way, is almost required now. And that kind of skill can actually go to a lot of different things, like baseball card people or Magic. They have like vendors who need people that are buying cards, who are kind of the buyer mentality, who are doing all the sorting or making sure that the cards are priced correctly. This job description is actually needed in the sports industry. So that's why, to be honest, if you are a person that actually has a passion for collectibles in general, I wouldn't doubt this is already in some capacity or is somewhat of a vocational skill. And you need to understand, like, contact Beckett or PSA. The other thing is, like, you have to live there. Other thing is you have to live in PSA area, Newport Beach or wherever the hell they are, Irvine, and also in Dallas, Texas is Beckett. So you have to choose only those living areas. So there are lots of people in different areas around the world. Unfortunately, especially like European people, you can't just work for them because you actually have to live over there. And so travel and family, you have your whole family to move, all that stuff. It's a big deal. So it's not that easy as it looks. So that's kind of another thing I was thinking about, a way, because people don't understand, like I hope this is helping to understand, like, people don't understand, like, how hard it is every day to do that job. I think another thing that PSA and Beckett can do is, I don't know if they do this, but they should offer like gym memberships, additional, I don't know, like maybe like chiropractic services or massage work on your shoulders, especially for the graders, because those are the guys who are actually grinding it out. Those are the guys that are driving they're the most important operational thing, right? They're the engine of the company. You have all the salesmen selling it, but they can only do so much. If the graders do a shit job, or they're slow or whatever, and they're not accurate, it's horrible. It just makes it terrible. Another complaint I get, by the way, everybody for PSA and Beckett, is the sleeves, the holders. People always wonder and ask, why the hell are the labels wrong? Why the hell are there, like, a piece of hair, or, I don't know if it's pubic hair or dirt or whatever the hell it is, why in the world are they inside the stupid holders? Why? The problem with, like, the Beckett holders is that there's a sleeve, and then there's also the holder, and that rooms for two areas of air, because if there's stuff in the sleeve, that's really bad, and then on top of that, you have the holder. You know how those like the scratches, and there's dirt, and there's this stuff everywhere? I've always wondered, why in the world is it so hard not to blow that stuff off or do the quality job? And I realized that the last part, the encasing part of the card, while it should be like one of the most important parts of the job, it actually becomes almost like making hamburgers. It's like an assembly line thing. Imagine you have an order of thousands of cards. We're not talking about 2 cards. We're talking about thousands of cards. There's going to be room for error on something. And that's really sad to say that, because there could be a card that could be damaged. Well, let's say nothing gets damaged. Well, you bet your bottom dollar there's like dust or microparticles or whatever. Now, those cases they have, the sonically sealed cases, I've seen these before. They're really good at, there's like a device where they blow and make sure that, hey, there's, it's clean. But it's not perfect. And that's the problem, is also the cases come from the manufacturer scratched up sometimes internally, like rubbing, and plastic kind of has these swirls. So you got to understand that process is not perfect. They're not going to sit there. Imagine this. I want you to imagine this. The person doing the encasing. They're going to sit there. Oh, look at, this case. Oh, there's a swirl there. Oh, screw that. That's in the shit case pile. Next case. Imagine if you did that multiple times. You're spending so much time evaluating the case when you should be focusing on slabbing the cards. Not going to happen. Another error that I get all the time, and I know my friend Tavis King made a hilarious video about errors in the grading labels. If they're alpha or beta, or they're, whatever edition, or they're upside down or sideways, or the label's coming out, whatever. When you get the cards, the receiving of the cards, this is probably one of the most troubling things, is that the receiving person just makes incredible amount of assumptions. They go off of what you write. Okay, you write what the cards are. Let's say an alpha card. But how do they know it's an alpha card? They have to be trained. They have to know the alpha card. They have to know that this is 1952 tops, not a reprint 1952 tops. How do they know that? This receiving and processing, individual has to know the cards too. They have to actually know cards also. It just makes it a very difficult thing. You have to hire people at multiple levels. And then you have the customer service agents, who obviously have to know what they're talking about, or know cards, right? Or know customer service, around cards. They have to know what they're talking about. So this entire industry, I've come to the realization, in order to actually get the right people in play, you have to actually hire people within the industry. Whoever's in HR for PSA and Beckett, I hope they're listening. I would recommend getting people that are in the shows, like the Magic Fest or whatever, and recruit them. Talk to them and give them business cards and say, hey, look, if you want a job, I'm interested in hiring you, or testing for this grading job. And that's really all you can do, because those people are the ones that are intimately grading cards, or they're collecting cards, playing cards, or whatever, right? If you're a sports authenticator and autographs, they're buying and selling, or they're getting autographs from like sports athletes. Those people are very knowledgeable. Last part of the video is training, and also just testing. A lot of people have asked me and said, well, what kind of testing do these people have? How the hell are they making the mistakes? How the hell they don't know what a collector's edition card that's cut into like beta corners. How do they not know that? Well, when I went to PSA, I got to post those videos too. There was an eye-opening experience of the reality that, there's too much training, training all the time. You have the variable of cards always changing. Imagine this, cards always evolving. Every series, baseball, basketball, football, hockey, whatever, non-sport. There's always random cards. So imagine those variables. Training's always going on. It's almost as you can't really train that. It's almost as you're like, wow, new set comes out. Warning, something happened here. We graded a counterfeit. Everybody, watch for this. So there's no like proactive training other than like warning signs to graders, like, hey, this bulletin in, this type of card is being altered in this way. Oh, this type of card is being cut this way. So this is not a trimmed thing. It's an additional, how do you know that? That's like, you read just so many freaking cards. Imagine. So the graders have to be experts. So obviously, one of the things that was brought up was, can graders just be experts at magic cards? Can they be expert at sports cards? And yes, there's actually people at PSA and Beckett who are better or more knowledgeable at those cards. And you can imagine if those people are the only ones grading the cards primarily because they're the experts and they have more knowledge, because that's what you want, people are those to do. Their standards tend to be a little bit wonky, meaning centering, corners, edges, surface. They have different styles of grading. And I'm saying that because it's true. It's the human error. In training, you have to develop a mechanical process, a better process, so it's not like, it's more robotic in a way. You have to figure that out. Like, there's a subjectivity to this. There's an eye appeal to this, but you got to eliminate it. So no, this is what centering should be measured every time. And so my friend Drew brought up a great thing, like, why is there not innovation or a machine that they've developed or something where they can scan the cards instantly? They can see that the centering is like, no, it's 100% an 8, 100% a 9, 8-5, whatever, right? And why not, this other thing is people always crack out the cards. People crack out the cards all the time and they resubmit them. Why not have a way to scan and know the DNA of that card, or have some kind of way to, develop a technology? So that card is special, and that's, these are the metrics of this card, so I know that was this card. Because there's people that are actually frauding and taking out like serial numbered cards, signed cards. This has happened. It's like let's say like a 1 of 5 card, and they've altered the edges or corners so they cut it better. This happens in the baseball card world a lot. They trim them effectively, and then they submit it again, and then they basically get a better grade. But it's the same serial number, so it's the same card. But the graders don't know that. They don't have the time to look at their systems. They don't have time to look at their system like, oh, by the way, that was once BGS 9 with this subgrades, but now it's come back, and I'm going to give it now a 9.5 because it looks better. That's suspicious. It doesn't happen this way. Maybe there is. Maybe it flags up and like, this is like a serial number card. It's the same serial number. Hello, you can't just do that. That's the problem. But the more important thing is, if it's not a serial number card, but it's just a regular card with no serial number, how can you do that? And the thing is, that's just more time. That comes down to it for the other training aspect is time. You don't have the resources and time to actually train every individual perfectly every time. There's like a book that you have to make, right? But the book has so many variables to this in training. It's impossible. My wife should talk about this shit. It's the HR nightmare, and this is nuts, because in grading, what book do you have? It's basically you know it or not, or you look at it. It's an opinion. See, the president of PSA said through all these issues of trim and alter cards, he said that the thing is, though, it's our opinion. It's not guaranteed in terms of like they guarantee their opinion, but at the same time, it's their opinion. It's a third-party authentication company. It's not like, yeah, 100% robotics. I was there. This came off the shelf. You opened the pack. I know you opened it. You never altered it. I'm going to grade it this grade. It's not like that. It's an opinion. So because it's an opinion, it's an eye appeal situation. A lot of cases, you have to make an eye appeal judgment. Oh, this kind of looks like 10. Oh, no, the centering's off. They have to make an opinion. So that's the problem with this entire process, is that there's too many opinions. It's just like the idea of driving a Tesla versus driving a car that's not a Tesla. The Tesla cars, to be honest with you, I mean, after driving in a Tesla, Brian Weissman has a Tesla. I was afraid to drive in the Tesla. But after seeing what the computer does, it has all these cameras. It knows what's going on, all areas, speed, conditions, everything. That makes me realize that, man, if I was sitting in a room, back to the card grading, and I was tired, and I just didn't give an F today, I could just grade whatever way. I could just be like, oh, basic 9.5. Oh, basic 9s. Yeah, the corners look like crap. Okay, 8.5 corners. Everything else is a 9. Do you see where I'm going with this? I'm not accusing Beckett of doing that, but I've seen grades before where everything is 8.5 corners and everything else is a 9. Basic. I've seen that before many, many times. I've seen PSA orders where they've given an 8. 8, 8, 8, 8 on everything. But you re-crack it open and it's a 9 or a 10 even. Because they want to, I don't know if it's like they have a quota to make or they don't want to overgrade a car. I don't know what it is. I don't understand. It's very frustrating because obviously I'm not going to ever be a grader. But I will tell you that it's frustrating because I feel the frustration of everybody has ever sent me an email, commented on the Grand Prix and Magic Fest, and they say the same shit every single time. They just want their cards graded the right way the first time. And they want it, at the right speed. So last thing, Beckett's orders now are non-guaranteed. For the non-guaranteed orders, I talked to the sales rep. Basically what's going on is that they're backed a lot quite a bit. But moving forward, all non-guaranteed orders are going to have no subgrades. If you want subgrades, you have to pay the guaranteed service. I think they have a 60-day guarantee. It used to be like 20 days is the guarantee. Now 60-day business guarantee service. And I think the guarantee is not even like you get your money back. You just get like free grades back. I don't even know what it is. I've never got to that point yet, but it's frustrating. I understand. I feel for every party involved, PSA Beckett. I hope the video wasn't like complaining. I hope you guys understand that I really care about the industry itself, but I'm just a little concerned about what the hell's going on. I hope you guys learned something. Please put your comments below. If you got an order or something going on, I hope you guys get it within the next 3 years. Later. Hey guys, it's me, Daniel with VintageMagic.com. I'm here to share with you more about our deck and set collector fulfillment service. The deck fulfillment service caters to the player. And what that basically means is if you are a player looking to fulfill your old school Magic deck, certain Power 9 or key pieces in your vintage deck, or dual lands in your legacy deck, we have the inventory and the resources to help you fulfill your needs. Next, we have the set collector fulfillment service. This really caters more towards the collector. Oftentimes I've been asked, hey Dan, can you help me find this specific graded card for this set? Or Dan, can you find me these 20 cards left in my beta set? It doesn't matter what you're looking for, even if it's like every single Sarah Angel possible out there, I can help you out. My resources and extensive network in Magic the Gathering, I was able to help thousands of clients all over the world fulfill their needs. I've made it my mission at VintageMagic.com to be your one-stop shop for all your collector needs. For any significant item or collection, we're able to travel anywhere in the world to meet you. The reason why my clients love this service because it saves you time. What happens is collectors and players often search all over online or vendors and they never find exactly what they're looking for. By going to us, we are the only one-stop shop who can help you with your needs. Using our service gets you exactly what you want and saves you time and money.
Vintage Magic. Game, collect, invest. For more information about our consulting and professional services, visit vintagemagic.com.